the Down to Earth Network, with your host, Sean Myrie. Tonight we got a special one straight out of the West Coast. It's midnight in the 6th, but this is from the 6th to the West Coast. We got the one and only alumni of D2E, the one and only NatSTAR. What you saying, brother?
What my guy, good to see you again, bro. Appreciate you having me on, brother.
Had to, man. I was listening to that Mr. Irrelevant. I was listening to that whole thing. But you have the
Yeah,
266. Tell me what that means. Like, it's like you have like a theme to it, to the mixtape.
yeah, yeah. So I'll explain a little bit of the concept essentially. So like in the NFL, the last pick of the draft is deemed Mr. Irrelevant, right? They
Mhm.
kind of put this um stigma, or not, I don't want to call it a stigma, but they kind of put this
I know what you
label.
mean, yeah.
Yeah, they call it the Lozman Trophy or whatever. And
Hmm.
so essentially the 226 was just it's really like 250 something or 60 something draft picks, but like I just take the year and just kind of took the two
Yes,
six
yes.
and just attached it to the you know to the joint, man. And
I-
like I was explaining to you before we got on camera, I'm having issues with the cover art because that was an
Oh, yeah, yeah. I
actual,
know what you mean.
yeah, that's an actual picture of the guy
Yeah.
holding up the jersey, but I had AI change the number just to fit the concept. And
Mhm.
um shout out to Empire. I don't have no issues with Empire, but they giving me some issues right now. It's all good.
Of course, but yo, that when I'm listening to the mixtape, man, I was just listening to it like two times to get it fresh. It's like from 1 to 7.
Okay, okay.
Hip hop,
Yeah.
lyrics, bars, and story. What I'm hearing, and I like the instrumental idea, but really, like, I haven't listened to an album in a long time, and you didn't oversaturate it with like 20 songs. It's 7 songs, and that's
Yeah,
enough for
yeah.
this time right now,
That
right?
also
And great
fits with the
quality.
theme as well. My bad to interrupt you, but that the 7 songs fits with the theme because of the 7 rounds. It's seven
Mm-hmm.
rounds in the draft, and so the way that it was supposed to, and it's my first time doing it, so I'll get it right next year when I drop next year's. But um, it was released. It was supposed to be released on all platforms on 425 because that's the day of the last round,
Mm-hmm.
and there's 7 rounds in the draft. And so that was the numbers, the whole theme is 7 songs, 7 rounds,
I
last
see what I
day,
mean. Yeah,
last
yeah, yeah,
pick. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So, but luckily, like I said, I still got it. It's up on the website. You were able to check it out. You can download it. Anybody that want to listen to it, we'll put the link in there. They can check it out. So,
But when you're listening to like when I'm listening to the mixtape, right?
yeah,
It's not like a normal mixtape. It's like, to me, it feels like an album, because like just hearing the instrumentals afterwards, and then how you had, like, all the songs too. It's like a theme, like what you're saying,
for
and
sure.
it just takes you into it. I was listening to like 1 to 7 over like at least 3 times, right?
Oh, my, I
Taking it,
appreciate it.
taking it in, and just like the lyrics, like how you were talking one with Ice Cold was one of my favorite. Ice
Yeah, yeah,
Cold. I
yeah,
was
yeah,
thinking that even Please,
yeah,
from Please, but Ice Cold
yeah.
and Vampires, and even
Oh, yeah,
Vampires.
yeah,
That's one of my
yeah.
favorite. The whole
Oh yeah,
album is
vampires.
fire.
Yeah, vampires is crazy. And here's another fun fact too. I've always
Mm,
throughout my career I've produced myself. I took a break essentially around, I want to say like 2021, and I started working with a producer.
mm,
Shout out to Oh Boy. Um, I started just working with him at the time. I was doing a
yeah.
lot like business wise, so I kind of took a step back from producing. So I started just doing tracks on, recording under his tracks and just
Mm,
co-producing.
yeah.
This album is the first time in about 5 years that I've gotten back to producing fully on my own. So everything on the album I fully produced from top to bottom.
So wait, this one was just dropped. You produced all
Everything,
the tracks.
all the tracks. Yeah, yep,
It's fire though. It's fire.
yeah.
So why you call it a mixtape then? I would ask. Is that just the way to promote it?
Um, I call it, honestly, I call it a mixtape because it was maybe because of the way that I themed it, right? The way that I just wanted to theme it, it was just like, 7 songs. Usually when I make albums, I try to get them in the double digits or more, you know.
Hmm.
So with this project, I looked at it more of a mixtape because it just, I even theming it with the feel, kind of having a retro, not necessarily 90s feel, but kind of a retro sample heavy.
Yeah, I heard that.
You know,
Yeah, sampling.
yeah, I made it, to where the majority of the tracks kind of had like that live drum feel. I didn't want to
Hmm.
overproduce it. I wanted to kind of keep it not necessarily basic, but I didn't like I tend to do a lot of, and you'll hear it on like a couple of my projects that I got coming out next, that I get
Hmm.
real intricate with my production. But with this one, I wanted to keep it simple. I wanted to have it just 7 songs.
I
So
seen that. Yeah.
I just kind of, in my mind, I just kind of themed it as a mixtape. So
I, as I was listening to it, I was like bumping my head. I was like, not too much music I've been hearing, even the so-called big guys who's like, I'm
yeah.
going like this. And I like reviewers, there's not enough. Like, I really listen to the
Mm,
music. You know, some people say, oh, yeah, yeah, like they interview somebody, but they don't listen
really
to the
listen
music.
to it. Right.
I take in the music, like I was telling you, like Space, for example, that one, Space, what you've done, that
Yeah.
one, ill. You get what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
you just bump into it. So I
Yeah.
feel there's a lack of real music, where you'd say connoisseurs who are like, talking like how I'm talking and listening to it and really having like a face-to-face interview with the artist, like
Yeah.
that Space track and the Vampires. I swear, when I heard that one, that's the
Pre-
last one. I said, damn.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
a secret.
Secret is a, yeah, that's one, that's one for the, you gotta sit, you gotta really listen to the, I came up with that concept, around the whole Epstein, when the Epstein files and
Yeah.
everything dropped. And
Mm.
just a little bit of context, because a lot of people may not be fully aware of the depth of, what happened behind that. But it's
I know that.
I,
I've been
you
analyzing
yeah,
that,
yeah,
man.
you
Trust me.
so you okay, so just, I guess, for the
I've been doing a
audience.
lot with that.
Oh yeah,
Hmm.
it's crazy. The the main financier behind Epstein was a guy by the name of Lex Wexner. Lex Wexner founded
Mm.
Victoria's Secret. And so I I came just one day, I'm just randomly thinking, I'm just like, man, what if that's the secret? What if that's
Yeah.
Victoria's Secret? And so I said, I'm gonna write some shit,
Mm.
and that's how the song came about, you know.
I like that. Yeah. And what am I leaving out? I got Please, and then Ice Cold, or LMK. LMK.
Oh yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
one.
Let me know. Yeah, that
Yeah.
record is actually just like me talking to one of my home. Like I got a couple homies. I ain't gonna, I ain't gonna put their names out there like that. But I got a couple homies where it's like, yo, we just shoot the shit. You know, we talk a lot about what we gonna do. We talk about, man, when we get this money,
Mm.
da 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 da. And it's just like, man, we do a lot of talking about when we get this. We do a lot of talk about when, or
Mm.
how we gonna do when this happens. This is like, yo, how about we put a
Mm.
real plan together? And that's where that came from. It was like, yo, fuck all this talking. Let's talk about putting some shit together, like tangible, actionable shit, you know.
Mm. What I like about it is that I could listen from 1 to 7. You don't have to skip.
I
That's
appreciate
that's
that, bro.
what's the goal. I don't have to skip. It's like, let me play that over again. And you have the instrumentals. Why did you choose to put the instrumentals on there? Because
But
people are gonna rock to those.
yeah, simply because of what I mentioned. That was my first time getting back into, I wanted to do that with a lot of my previous projects, but out of respect for, oh boy, you know, and the the intricacies with that and the splits and stuff like that. I'm
Mm.
just like, I'm just gonna keep it simple with the projects. But with this one, I'm like, this is my shit. So fuck it. And then that's another avenue. You got like a lot of playlists out there, especially like Spotify playlists,
Mm.
just instrumentals. You know, people and I figured, I give people a chance to rock. If they want to rock, put their own shit out. If they want to put their own versions of it,
I was
have at
feeling it
it.
myself. I was saying, I was saying because
You
I'm
know,
an MC too. I said, what? I have
there
to
you
jump on
go.
one of these
Jump on it, bro. Get
and
creative,
jump on
man.
one.
Like feel free, man. Like that's the whole thing with with the way that
Mm.
I view creativity. It's like, man, we all can do our own thing, and it's all good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the please from please came in when I heard it's like, damn, perfect intro. And after like just the sonically, you could hear, you could listen over and over to it. You had one of the songs when you were referring to Dre. I'm wondering which Dre are you talking about? Are you talking about the
Oh,
producer Dre or
Dr. Dre. Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. So with that, So the Chronic was the first official hip hop album that I really like. That really got my attention. Dropped on my 10th birthday, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And a little bit of backstory. My father, I think I might have mentioned this in the previous interview. My father worked for Atlantic
Yeah.
Records, and
Oh yeah.
he that was one of the projects that came out, and it grabbed my attention so much that it propelled me to want to do music. It propelled me to want to produce. And so when I said, and I was like, shout out to Dre, you know, you the reason I do this
Mm-hmm.
shit. Like, that's also a reference, like a double reference into me back into the production side as well. You know, I haven't done that. Like I told you, I hadn't done that in 5 years. So,
You
big
know the
shout out to
funny
Dr.
thing,
Dre.
like when you're saying Dr. Dre, I was thinking even before I listened to that track, that this is the type of artist that a man like Dre, like how I see like the game going, would want to do some type of production with it. I'm picturing when I'm
Oh,
listening to the album, I'm like, yo, NatStar, someone I could see Dr. Dre all of a sudden just giving you that call out of nowhere when, or
man,
just
that would be a
because you
blessing.
have that. I think so, man. I'm putting that out there in the universe.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Dre, holla at me, bro. Like that. You talk about a
Trust me.
dream. Listen, man. That would be
Yo, no, but you know what? The other day I seen him shout out a guy from New York. I forgot what his name was, but he's pretty sharp. This guy from New York, he's like commercially big, but
okay.
he kind of got. I think it was Ice T who kind of introduced him to Dr. Dre, like to Dr.
Okay.
Dre in some type of way, right? But this
Okay.
guy from New York, he's pretty nice. I forgot what his name is, but he's on the come up. But that's an
Okay.
example how this guy's straight from New York. He's a vet, like you could tell he's an OG. But getting
Yeah.
flowers from Ice T and
That's
Ice T
dope.
shopping him to the West Coast and
That's
get like
dope.
Dre to like, or was it Eminem? I think it was Eminem. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Either way,
Man,
that's
that like I
that's a
said,
big thing. That's an example.
that would be that's one of those bucket list things that you check off. It's like, man, if I don't, this would be amazing. But man, like I follow, like I said, literally the reason I sonically got deep into the music was because of Dre, because of the Chronic, because of Doggy Style.
Hmm.
That brought me in. Even being from the East Coast, essentially. Like I said, I grew up on the East Coast. I've only been on the West
Hmm.
Coast now for about what, 5 years, 6 years. Um, but I grew up an East Coast head, and it's still I gravitated to that sound, and it hasn't left
Me
me
too.
since,
Me
man.
too.
You
I
know?
like a lot of East, but I gravitated to the West Coast. Ice Cube's one of my favorite.
Oh, for
The
sure, for sure.
The NWA whole era, I remember that because I'm my older brothers too. But I was that Easy E. I used to listen to a
Yeah,
lot of
bro.
that.
Hmm. Oh yeah,
All
you
West
see,
Coast. I could keep going.
we come from the same era. It's the funny thing
I
about
could
it's
keep
like
going.
I was listening to NWA even though I wasn't supposed to. I
Mm.
found myself listening to NWA, but when the Chronic dropped, it was something different about that album that
Yeah,
just
yeah, 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 yeah.
it stood like head and shoulders above anything I had heard up until that
Yeah.
point. And I just
Yeah.
remember just thinking like, damn, I want to do whatever I'm hearing. I want to figure out how to do that. And from
Hmm.
that point, that pretty much catapulted where where I am today, to be honest with you, man.
Remember last time we talked? I said this is like just a new, like it's just a new, different time, and it's a good time for hip hop because when you see like the clips, right, getting
Yeah.
Grammys, awards, getting recognized, you're
Yeah.
seeing who else? Like you're seeing a lot of old, like
Like
not,
older,
I don't want
yeah.
to say
Like in
old,
our
just older
when
heads.
our generation, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Like what
they're getting
the
they're getting
younger
the
cats would
flowers
consider
more
older.
earlier.
Yeah, right, 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 right.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So now they're recognizing hip. Even Kanye, even though he's controversial, they're
He's
recognizing this guy. Like comes out
yeah.
big. Like
Hmm.
even though he's controversial, the shit is like,
Hmm.
and even though it wasn't really hip hop, not it wasn't really a hip hop album. He still represents hip hop. So
You talking about
that's big
Bully?
too, right? Yeah, Bully.
Bully?
It
Yeah.
was more
I
like a
listened to
singing.
Bully. It get that I'll say this about Bully. It gave you it was almost kind of a blend of old Kanye and new Kanye. Just kind of
Yeah,
all
yeah,
into one, right? And it
yeah.
still kind of had like a unfinished feel to it, which still kind of represents Kanye. So it felt like just a full Kanye album. It wasn't my favorite, but I'll give it that much respect and that much credit that he got his old school samples in there, and then he got his singing in there, he got his auto tune on there, he got his bars in there, he got his features. So
Mm.
Kanye's still Kanye. That's the good thing because I'm a big, huge Kanye fan.
Yeah, yeah.
It's good to see that Kanye is still, he still got it.
Now what I'm seeing is like Jay-Z seeing an opening. He's
Yeah, yeah,
been doing a campaign. He's been doing a campaign to
yeah,
come
yeah,
back
yeah.
in the
It's
fold,
it's
right?
listen, you can see that it's still he that itch is still there. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you
And
can see it. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
He's coming.
and listen, you gotta, as a hip hop fan and as a Jay Z fan, like you gotta welcome it through all the controversies and everything. You still gotta
Mm.
welcome that possibility of Woody or will he not come out with a
It has to
project.
though, because the last
Yeah,
album, Respect to Jay, is not memorable to me too much. So he has
four
to
four
drop
four.
something. Yeah, I don't think it's not that
Yeah,
like album you
it
can leave
wasn't.
your
Yeah,
career at.
yeah,
You-
yeah. That was his therapy album. That really was
But he
just.
can't leave without the. He has to do something else. He has to drop
He got to
something.
do a black album too,
Yeah. So
right?
what's going on now? I'm gonna talk to you because we already know each other. That we already went through that album. We'll come back, Mister Irrelevant. Check
Mm-hmm.
that out on his
Mm-hmm.
site right now. NatStar.
Yes,
You know
sir.
who I'm
Yes,
about to
sir.
bring up? Who's shutting the shit down now from the six?
Oh yeah, Mister Drake so
Ice.
cold. Drake so cold, huh? You got what? 2 weeks?
2 weeks. This is like a movie, brother. I tell you, this is a movie. Even especially down
I
here, what's
give it to
going
him.
on, right? So
His rollout game. Pause. His rollout game has been
big.
crazy. Like,
He's not
yeah,
finished.
yeah.
He has something coming for everybody. I tell you, he has something coming up, and that's
Oh wow.
the
Okay.
FIFA soccer shit. He's got.
I've noticed
You see
something
how
too.
he waited?
He's gotten a lot of brands like doing the what is it like
Yeah.
the
Yep.
acronym thing where it's like
You got
Iceman
McDonald's.
something. Yeah, I saw
Oh yeah.
DoorDash. I saw a few. I saw a few. I'm
Marvel.
interested.
Marvel Comics.
I'm
Yo,
interested.
the
I'm
man has
interested.
like six.
Yeah, it's
But what I'm
listen,
saying, when
man.
he comes out now, he's raising the bar when he comes out now. Everybody wants to. It's all this controversy because of the Kendrick shit. What was going on?
Right, right,
So he
right, right.
was like damaged. I think. I guess for the 2 years he was like fighting,
Yeah,
still fighting. The court shit.
yeah,
And now
yeah.
this whole thing is like a movie. He's doing the streaming, what it's called, live streams and shit,
Yeah. Okay.
gambling online and shit.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
I feel I said it in the beginning when it was announced because you know of Drake. That's why I'm telling you about this.
Right. Right.
I said he had to wait. Everybody wanted him to come out like 5 months ago. I said no, you cannot come out that time. I was doing my podcast and I said this guy has to wait for a while until near the summertime comes because his
Okay.
music fits. You know, especially in
Right.
Toronto around that time, there's a lot of events. What's going on? You know, carnival. You know,
Okay.
for example,
Right.
Sexy
Right.
Red's coming here in May 15th. So his album's coming out May 15th, and
Okay.
she's coming
Okay.
here to perform. You see what I
Gotcha.
mean? He knows how
Gotcha. Of
it's all
course, it's all
planned and
strategic.
shit.
I do. I want to say this. I was me and my girl. We was chopping it up early. I was what, like a day. It was like yesterday. I said,
Mm,
I said the world owes Drake an apology, and here's why.
mm,
I'm listen. I'm a Kendrick fan as well. I think both
yeah,
artists are dope, right?
great. Yeah, yeah,
But we gotta. I'm not gonna say we. I'm not gonna say who owes an apology, but right now we have a real, true pedophile on trial,
yeah,
like a real, true potential alleged pedophile
yes,
and murderer
yes. Oh, you
on
brought.
trial
Go ahead.
right now,
Mm,
who
mm,
who's documented, not just and rest in peace,
mm,
Celeste.
yeah.
Not just Celeste, but documented multiple minors
Mm,
or A minors, if you want to go
mm,
there,
mm,
on this man's phone and in this man's roster, certified
mm,
pedophile on trial.
mm.
And not once have we seen any true documented proof that Drake was, if you want to throw
Yeah, I see what you mean.
speculations
Yeah,
in
yeah.
there, you can do
Yeah.
whatever you want to do. Me personally, I don't throw accusations on people unless there's something, unless it's something that we don't know, but it's not out there. But what we do know is that we have a true sick, psychopathic, fucking murderer slash pedophile on trial right now with 40 terabytes of fucking evidence showing.
You see how you brought that up? You see how that brought that up? And that's how you brought something deep up because I've been getting into this type of shit, this conspiracy, whatever they want to call it. And I analyze his story because I actually read. You know, like some
Yeah.
guys just talk. I actually done research. You wouldn't believe what I'm about to say about that guy. How he became big, his come up. Just see his come up and his family life. All right, I'm gonna hit you with something. I don't know if you don't. You know, he came from New York, Queens, with his family.
Originally, I just
Moved
found
up.
that out today.
Yeah, so he moved at what grade 7
13.
to Tech with our 13 with his family, right?
Mm-hmm.
His
Mm-hmm.
father, man, hate to blow it because I'm the one to bring it up, man. His father is a successful big business type of guy. Like he runs a whole bunch of shit, right? In
Mm,
Texas, like
mm.
big corporation, like money. This guy. So this kid, he was a kid. He started playing Fortnite video games, spoiled
Right.
if we want to call him spoiled and shit, right? And he was online and his story he couldn't he got copywritten because he was putting other people's music on the shit. So how
Right.
he
Right.
became the artist, he started doing his own music, got
Right.
online, started a community, talking probably
Mm-hmm.
to those girls from those
Mm-hmm.
times. He was
Right.
he was a 16-year-old who liked 10-year-olds. That's what I'm
Right.
trying to say. He was like
Right.
16-year-old, like 10-year-old. Then as he got bigger, I heard on TikTok from SoundCloud, he
Right.
got onto TikTok and his songs
Right.
got popular. And
Right.
I never really listened to this guy's song. Now you just seen this picture of this guy they accused of, and I always wonder why it took him so long to arrest him from the first time I heard about this story with the underage girl, right?
Which was
So the
years,
story,
which was years ago. Like, yeah, it's
yeah, so the
insane.
story thickens too. Then it goes to the parents. I heard stuff, much respect, but I heard that the parents knew at a time
Mm-hmm.
that they were around each other, right?
Yeah, I heard that
This guy
too.
comes from money. His dad.
He
Let's
comes
go
from
back to this
money.
guy's
Okay.
dad. The man is running like big time corporation. What people are under him, working for him, like maybe hundreds of people in
Wow.
Texas. Remember Texas, Houston,
Right.
Texas. So where
Right.
I'm getting to now, when you say evil shit, now you want me to get more deep, man?
Nah, go ahead. Let's get it.
This guy
Take
been
off.
seeing this before. This guy's seen this before, growing up.
Mm.
You get what I mean? Going to these
Mm-hmm.
big high life, like the Epstein shit, places. He got in the industry. What I'm basically saying, this guy was put in, like he got in. He
Yeah.
got big
Okay.
because his daddy had that money.
He
He
okay.
could do whatever he
Okay.
wants.
Oh
And now they're
wow.
defending him in the court. Now they're defending him. They're not like they didn't turn their backs on him. The dad had his father. He has money, and the father has money, but he looks guilty. Either way, those terabytes, what you're saying, all those stuff, what he had, he was so confident, right,
That.
that he
Mm-hmm. Okay.
continued
That see
because
this makes
people
wow.
in the industry, he's a young guy.
Right.
It's like the Puffy kind of thing. He's seen stuff, even though he's guilty as fuck. But he probably this is something like what broke out, what we're not supposed to normally, what not, what's not supposed to normally happen. You get what I'm
Mm.
saying? Like he
Yeah.
he stepped out of line. If you listen to his song, when I first checked him out, I never listened to the song. He has a song called what's called Homicide. What something like
Romantic
beautiful. Like
homicide.
it's
Romantic
like
homicide. Yeah.
your romantic homicide. And when you
Yeah.
listen to
Yeah.
when I see the song, wait a minute, this guy was obsessed with death. Like his theme is the like that satanic shit. I see it. I
Right.
don't know if
Yes.
anybody does see it. So
That's yeah,
he
that's
was already
kind of
into that.
weirdly enough how he connected to his fans. Like I've been looking at a lot of the stories, just kind of, just doing my own research and just
Hmm.
cause I guess a part of me is trying to, and what you're saying makes so much sense now, because a part of me was just trying to figure out like how. Like a lot, like in my mind, I'm like, number one, how did he think he would even get away with this shit? Number two, where did the fascination and like where I'm like I'm probably you're probably the same way where it's like I want to know the origins of everything. I need to
Yeah,
figure out the source. And I heard, obviously he grew up, he was homeschooled. So
yeah.
he didn't
See
get
that
a he
Christian? They said he was Christian, singing
yeah, he went to the
choir. Think of
church
it. It's
and
the
yeah, the whole
reverse.
shit. Mm-hmm.
So doesn't it sound like, oh, if you're all into this God stuff and then you take on the satanic side, it's like, no, I don't want that. It's like I that's a cover. Like I've been learning about this Christianity stuff and gospel so long, but I'm really attracted to the other
Attracted to
side.
the other shit, especially if, like you
You,
said, if they had him exposed to shit that the average person they're not privy to that. Like,
and he needs a
that
virgin. He can't go for an older girl. That's in their head too. You need a virgin.
mm, right.
It's all there. He couldn't go for
Wow, that's
that. He believes in that shit, man. Trust me. So when I broke it down, I'm saying this is some secret, what we would call secret society types of shit, where he just didn't cover himself up good.
that's fucking
Think of
insane,
it.
man.
Seven
You know,
months after the whole.
and it because look, my father, rest in peace, he was, I grew up in the music industry. Like I said, I think we
Mm,
talked about that before, from the time
yeah.
I was shit about maybe 4 or 5 up until.
Mm,
And the thing that I when I hear these, like, even talking about this right now, it just makes me appreciate my father that much more, because there was
mm.
so many different times where I could have been exposed to different things. Or I'll tell you one day, I'll tell you this, tell you my Ray J story, but that's another level.
And he's in some
God
shit.
bless.
But hey, this
Yeah.
is what I'm saying. You're saying the music, but his pops was into, I think, oil or some big, like
So just
some big shit, man.
that allowed
Some
him that
serious money.
that allowed him to be exposed to other shit. You
What did
know,
he see?
Eh,
Imagine what he was seeing on that type of corporate thing. Going to these, he probably went to some of these
that's what I'm
parties, you
saying.
know.
And in my case, like, there was cases where I could have been signed, or different situations that my dad kept me
Mm,
covered and my dad protected me. as opposed to just
Hmm.
allowing me to be, you know, a part of whatever the case, part of
Yeah,
this or a part of
protect you.
that, or
Yeah.
just, he protected me, he kept me covered, and it just makes me appreciate him that much more because, you know, who,
Mm.
and like you said, the mom, the parents, everybody knew what the fuck was going on, man. They knew.
Yo, you know what? There's another story out there because we're podding too at the same time talking about you. Um, about Jay Prince, son.
Hmm.
I noticed I
Hmm.
seen something. I had to pay attention to it. But
Yeah.
is that something of what's going on
You specifically, you mean the story
with
with the
Takeoff?
oh, takeoff. Okay. Well, I don't know the details. This is what I will say. There's another
Mm,
recent story. He was apparently involved with this guy from Detroit, All Star
mm,
Jr. And he got jumped. It was some guys with Jay Prince Jr. that was part of NBA YoungBoy's crew, and they all,
uh,
yeah, they, I guess they were affiliated. You know what I mean? And Jay Prince
mix up.
Jr. and the guy, yeah, didn't like each other,
Yeah,
and it was a big boom. Next thing you know, some
yeah.
people get shot. But
Mm,
I'll just say, from connecting that to the takeoff situation, it just
mm.
seems that
Don't look good.
some shit, yeah, it just seems like a lot of weird
Mm.
stuff goes around or goes down whenever Jay Prince Jr. is around. I don't know the details, so I'm not going to
Yeah,
speak
me
on,
either. Yeah,
no
I just heard of it.
intricacies
Like I
to
heard
it.
something. It was like, mm,
Yeah, it's just um, yeah, it's a little strange, but
yeah, a little strange, yo. Yo, what do you
he's
think about the AI? What do you think about AI music right now? Like they're banning. They just banned it off of some platform. Oh, the awards, the Oscars. They banned
okay.
AI music. Spotify
I
banned. I think they banned AI music.
I I I don't care for it. I don't care for it. I don't like it. To be honest
Yeah.
with you, if especially if, and as an artist, an artist and a producer and a songwriter, somebody who actually, really puts my time and my energy into it. And have you seen the Michael movie yet?
No, 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 no. I didn't get to
Okay,
watch that yet. I'm gonna go check.
s- so well, after I watched that movie, it made me hate it even more. And it's because
Mm,
in the movie you got to really see, it brought to life the time and the energy and the effort that that man put into his music, and it actually sparked a different level, a deeper level of creativity in me to just go the extra mile when it comes to, putting my projects out.
mm.
And so when I think about that and I think about AI, it's just like, I got a friend of mine, I'm not going to put his name out there, but he does something totally different. He was in the world of promotion, then he got into some other shit,
Mm,
and he was just always an R&B fan. But as soon as the AI
mm.
music capabilities came out, all of a sudden he was an artist.
uh,
And and to the point to
yeah.
where he literally put out a whole project on like on DSPs.
Mm,
And it was like he would write some shit, write some songs, and then just have the AI
mm,
shit do what it do. And so, now it's just got people, anybody thinking that they can do music. And then, yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of it personally. And I'm a little
so if you
disappointed
put,
in Timberland, because Timberland is a guy that I've always had super high respect. So for him to lean into it the way that he did, I was just like, man,
okay, say if
come
you
on.
use the AI a certain way, I'm gonna put this concept now. Say if you write
Okay.
a verse, it's
Right.
your hook. You write a verse, and this
Right.
AI takes that same thing what you recorded. That's good, but it for
Hmm.
the rest of the song, the 3 minutes, it's gonna repeat that same verse or sequence it, and it's gonna
Hmm.
add the ideas of what you spit before to more. and finish up the song. It's your
Uh
voice, Remember that. It's you put you put
yeah.
the idea in, so you have to put a sample in for them to take the rest and finish up the shit. I feel that's the way they should be
I'm gonna tell you where
doing.
I'm gonna
It'll
tell
be
you
better.
where I like. I'll tell you the one example where I thought AI was dope was when Beanie Siegel used it to
Yeah,
create
yeah.
because
His
apparently
song.
there's something going on with his voice.
Mm,
And so he was able to use AI to mimic his old voice with his new
yeah.
lyrics. I thought that was
Mm,
dope. I don't have no issue with that. But to answer your question, I will have to try it. I'm always one to be like, okay, let me not knock it until I try it. But the stubborn artist and producer in me
mm.
wants to be fully creative and fully.
Okay, say if you could put your whole song in,
Mhm.
right? And it's like a rough copy,
Okay.
right? So you're writing it's your idea, everything you done, the first, the second, the whole track, the whole shit,
Right.
but
Okay.
AI just smooths it over, just corrects maybe your pronunciations. It kind of helps with all that shit, like maybe you said
Yeah.
knock a certain way, or like you get, I mean, it just fixes up
Yeah.
that shit.
Yeah.
How some people have to go over and over, oh, I
Right.
said wrong, the wrong way, you get what I mean? It just fixes that. How you feel about that?
I will have to try it. I'll have to try it before I say that I don't. But if you and one day I'm gonna record my I've never done it before, but I'm gonna just set up a camera and I'm gonna record my process, how I record.
Mm,
I will literally like the way that I can feel it's weird because like I could record a verse or part of a verse and I could feel like even if it's at the very end or somewhere in between where it's like, nah, that ain't it. I'll stop, go back, do it again. It's a feeling for me, right? That and I think that might be the the crossroads between me and AI. It's like
mm,
it's literally just like an innate, an internal feeling of something where it's like, I don't know, that ain't it. Go back and do it again, but it gotta feel
mm.
like authentic. And
I see what you mean.
yeah, if AI can grasp that, then I'm willing to give it a shot. But I would have to try
Mm.
it. But if it can't do that, then I'm probably not gonna fuck with it. But
Yeah,
every
everybody will try
yeah,
it.
9 times out of 10, I say 99 out of 100 times, my process it's like it's all like here. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Um,
I think it's better for a sample version, a sample tool more, right? Like I
yeah,
would say, like you do your song and just say it's your mother or some female, just they put their voice, someone's voice, and you could just spell it out, and make it like they're
there
singing
you
the
go.
song,
There you go. Yeah,
like an
yeah.
old
If it's
fashioned
something,
voice.
not if it's something to where it's not like because even like I've never had anybody write my raps ever. You
Mm,
know what I mean? So it's like even if I were to type in a prompt and be like, "Hey, write me a song,"
mm,
that would feel weird. You know, um,
mm,
even like my pen game is like all here. I'll sit in the same spot for 30 minutes or an hour until I get the right cadence or the right words to match
agree.
the cadence. It may and it could be a stubborn side of me. That's why I said I'm willing to try it. I'm never too stubborn to be like, all right, this ain't gonna work just because of or because of the stigma or what I may have
Mm.
heard about it. I'm always willing to try some shit, but the default side of me is just like, nah, that shit gotta come from a special place. You know what I'm
Yo,
saying?
so what do you think about like the older artist thing? Because the ageism, which is stupid. Because the more
Yeah,
older you are, the more experience you have, the more like I want to listen to somebody who has
yeah,
like a story. You've been through
yeah,
it and all that. So I know there's a there's emergence of that, but there's been all
Yeah.
the talk for the recent years about, it's too old to do
Yeah.
to do the hip hop and stuff. It's only our genre. People talk about that shit. What would you say
Yeah.
to somebody who's like an older head who might feel discouraged of like continue like trying to do something like if they're even 40 whatever, and they love hip hop? Should they just give it up, or even just not say they have to take it seriously, but don't abandon the culture, just sharpen it
Yeah.
too? Like, what would you say?
I I'm in the mindset that if you're inspired, then do it.
Mm,
If I don't, it don't to me, and this is look, I have an uncle right now who's about to turn 70,
mm,
right? He sends me beats every day. Now, I listen, like if it's something that fits what I do, I'm like,
mm,
okay, cool. If it's not, I still, I'm constantly encouraging him. But like
mm,
he's 70 years old. And you would, if you look at him, I'm gonna send you his page on IG. You would not think he was fucking 70 years old, but he is about to turn
yeah,
70 and he is
definitely.
still cooking. I wouldn't tell if it's in you and and you have that inspiration.
Mm,
I watched a video of Quincy Jones the other day. He was just like, it's never too late to do anything you're inspired. If the inspiration is there, do it because you never know. Now, what your expectations are, now that's a different conversation. If you're just gonna do it because you're inspired and you just like, let's just let the chips fall and your satisfaction or your gratification comes from the creation itself, then that's even better because now you don't have those expectations of thinking like, okay, I'm gonna quote unquote blow up or I'm gonna get signed or I'm gonna get
mm,
discovered or I'm gonna go viral or any like just
mm.
take all of that away because if it's there and it's in you to do it, then my personal advice is to just go for it, no matter how old you are. You know,
It's true.
I'm about to
Facts.
turn.
It's not.
I'm turning 44 this year. I'm
Mm,
turning 44 this year, and I tell my girl this all the time. I'm like, I promise you, babe, the day that I feel like I ain't got it no more, that's the day I'm done. But the more I feel like, if I feel like I keep getting better or I keep getting more and more inspired, I'm just gonna keep going at it. And
mm,
that's what my message would be to anybody out there doing it, regardless of how old or how young you are. Cause somebody in their teens or their 20s, they got a whole different sound for a whole different audience, right?
mm,
Somebody in their 30s, they got a whole different sound. If you in your 40s, you in your 50s, you got a whole like Jay. If Jay come out, he's in his 50s right now, right?
mm.
Kanye's got to be at least either 50 or
40.
close. How old is he?
No, he's 40. 40. I think he's like in his 40, like 40
Late
something.
40s,
Really?
right?
Yeah,
So
something like that.
approaching 50, but um Malice is 50 something, right?
Hmm. Yeah,
No Malice,
yeah,
I'm sorry. No Malice is like
yeah.
early 50s like
There's a
and I
lot.
think
There's a lot.
yeah, they like I said the clips. We just talking about the clips. They just dropped their project.
Mm,
Jake 50 could drop something if he wanted to,
yeah,
like
yeah.
and it's strictly again strictly in my opinion just off of the inspiration of the art. It's like
And it's how you, no matter what, if you're not doing one thing, like you say, you produce,
mhm,
sometimes you might produce, you have to be versatile nowadays, right?
mhm, mhm.
You have to not just be in one bag, you have to be in other bags, right?
Yeah,
So you
yeah,
could
yeah.
produce as well as being an artist. You could produce other artists. You could produce,
Right,
that's another thing.
right,
So
right,
what I seen too, because I'm an artist, is I had to take a break because I seen how the industry was, and my
right.
message, what I was bringing. Now it's relevant. It would be relevant. My old shit, but at a certain
Gotcha.
time, I was like, what the fuck is this guy saying? This conspiracy theorist type of shit. Yeah, but now if
Mm,
I pump that old shit, that
It's
shit
just
will be
like
like something. You know what I mean?
it'll be
So I done this.
received better in today's time, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Now's the time. You
yeah.
get what I mean? So I'm older now, but I want to do
And
some
see
new
that,
shit. You get what I
and
mean?
here's the thing: the fact that you're aware of that only cosigns that inspiration, right? Like the fact
Hmm.
you didn't you have the choice. You have the choice. You can say, you know what, fuck this shit, or you can say, you know what, I can hold on to this feeling because I feel like one day it's gonna make the right sense, or one day it's gonna
Yeah.
connect at the right time, and that inspiration stayed with you. And that's the other thing. True artists and true creators, that feeling never ever leaves. That's why you
No,
see people
never.
like, Jay-Z teasing coming back and dropping records, because as
Mhm.
much as he's a businessman, it's like, bro, you're an artist. Kanye, same thing. It's like, you know, that feeling never really leaves. If you're
Mhm.
really, you know, committed and you're dedicated to it. It's like that. It's hard to you sleep with it, you wake up with it. It's like it's
It's
there. You
true.
you know
It's
what I
true,
mean?
man.
Yeah. Yeah. You
Because
know?
like not to brag, the art of freestyling, I could do that off the top, like
Yeah, you got me
easy.
beat
You
on
know,
that,
and so
bro.
some people can't do that. Like I used to
Yeah,
battle back in the
I
days. You
can't
know.
do that shit.
Yeah, I love that. Like I love the after I done an album like that. I would just record, you know, the like
Yeah.
whatever I'm spitting, stop that shit, and then work
Yeah.
around it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, I
Yeah.
love the
Yeah.
art of freestyling. I haven't played around in a while, but I love the art. That's why when
Dope.
I do this, like for the music, like when I'm interviewing artists, it's not like I don't know about music. I've been
Yeah.
in the studios or homes, the mixers, the
Yeah.
equalizers, the friggin'
Hmm.
all of that shit, man. Like real, you see what they say,
Yeah.
basement
Yeah. Yeah. The grind.
culture living, that dungeon shit, like the
Yeah.
dungeon family and shit. You, my
Yeah.
pops down
Yeah.
there playing fucking drums,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
smoking
Like
flips.
that's listen, that was the environment that I grew up in. That still sits with me to this day. Like the uncle that I spoke about, he's
Mm,
the person that taught me how to make beats. He was
hmm.
the first.
Yeah.
When I first learned, I think it was my 11th birthday, when my dad bought me a keyboard. It was the keyboard that he was already using so that he could, essentially mentor me on how to get going.
Hmm.
And we talking, that was 30 years ago. And he is
Hmm.
doing, at 30 years ago, he was my age now. You know what I'm saying? So like,
And you around the mute. You around as well as me. My pops' friends, they'll play the keyboards. They know to play the bass, the guitar. Like a really,
there you
even though
go.
we were fucking with the
Real
hip hop, as much as we're freeing with the records and the CDs, we're around real musicians.
real
Showing us
musicians,
what to fucking do.
absolutely. Real
So
musicians. Like I
a lot
said,
of people can't say that who are content
right.
makers. I'm just gonna say that some of these guys who talk about music, they never been around no musicians.
Yeah, no, they probably just grew up in the computer era. Like, nah, I was recording on real, like, analog
Yep,
boards. I had to
yep.
learn how to record on the analog boards and shit
Track
like
the two
that.
track, the
Yeah,
four track.
two
Remember
tracks,
the
four
four track shit?
tracks. Yeah, four tracks. Started on the four tracks, evolved into the 8 track, then
The
the eight
tape,
track
the
into the
cassettes.
16 track.
Remember those
Tapes,
cassettes?
yes, for sure. Dat tape, CD burners, the CD recorders
Mm-hmm.
before the burners, like,
Mm-hmm. I had that. Yeah.
yeah, the whole nine. You know what I mean? But again, that's part of the story. That's also probably the reason why,
It's real
when
love
you come
of
when
the
you
cult.
come from like that
Mm.
era, and like that, those imprints never leave. You know what I mean? It's like that. You can't come up from that era being passionate in that era and expect that to ever just,
Never leaves.
yeah, no, no,
Cause I could go on
especially,
a keyboard right now and I could produce something with a key. Like that was my shit. The keyboard. I could take the
yeah.
keyboard, the basses, anything within those sounds, and do
Hmm.
my uh fucking sequence and doing the
Yeah.
bass. I was
Yeah,
into the
yeah,
Dr. Dre, like you were saying, and all that
yeah,
different shit. Drum machines, the Boss drum
yeah,
machine. You remember that?
yeah, yeah. I
I
do
fuck
remember the Boss drum
all of that
machines.
shit.
Yeah, my first keyboard was the
Hitting that
Roland W30. I don't know if you remember that, the
big.
Roland W30. That was my
There's,
first
there's the
keyboard.
Rollin.
Hmm.
Um,
The Yamahas,
which one? I have the I have a Yamaha. I have the Yamaha
hmm
one. Remember
hmm
Yamaha?
I remember I
The
had
DJ. I had a DJ one.
the call the was it call I can't remember the name. It was a
Cross.
sampler. The cost was it cost?
I think so. Cost. Yeah,
I
yeah.
think it was
Cost. That one
cost the
is like,
sampler. Yeah, where you like
yeah.
I come from that era where you had to connect a sampler to a like you had to connect the sampler to like a rolling machine to a sequencer,
Hmm.
and it all had to be
Yeah.
synced up, and you had to know how to
I think
sync it
that's what
up.
made the music better quality. I think when you had to kind of put more work when it wasn't as easy, it
Oh,
made
for
you
sure.
appreciate the music more. And it's
And
like
and you
you
had
as
to
an
dig
artist
deep.
took your time, even your time more, right?
You had to it forced you to dig deep. You just talking about it is bringing me back to that era, just remembering like I might have been limited with the sounds that I had available to me, right? But it
Mm,
forced me to be able to dig deep and make the best out of what I had that was available to me. Like when I learned how to
yeah.
sample, I had to find parts of certain songs where I can grab snares or grab a
Mm,
kick, grab a hi hat. I remember sampling from the Fugees, like
mm,
different, I remember sampling from Wu Tang. I remember, sampling
mm.
from Nas. I sampled a lot from Nas, from Mob Deep. I sampled from the Fugees,
Everybody,
but
you're going
yeah,
every
like,
place.
yeah, I was because I would hear certain shit and I'm like, yo, I need that sound right there, you know.
You know what? I used to sample tapes too. Take the tapes. That's one of the best sonic sounds to take into the computer. I learned that. And a lot of people
Oh
haven't
yeah.
done that. Maybe I'm putting it out them, but tape,
Hmm.
whatever the frequency, that sound, took it
It was
into
that
digital.
it was that
Not
analog
no
that
sound like that.
that analog warm. Yeah. Yeah. Not
Tape,
listen.
yes, into digital.
We
Ooh,
speaking a
it
foreign
sounds.
language right now to a lot of people that may not
Yeah,
understand, you know.
Tupac number one.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
that stuff is
I
coming out
probably
about
sam
Tupac.
I probably sample from Pac. I probably sample from Pac too, to be honest with you. Like, Pac Pac is I think let me think. Pac was by the time I really, really got into it, Pac had probably already passed. I was just
96.
getting in. Yeah, I started getting into it like 94, 95. I remember
Mm,
I started touring in 95. So
shit.
I was producing a little bit, but after he passed, I got deeper into it.
Yeah,
Um,
me too.
but rest in peace, Pac, man. Like Pac was obviously, Pac is Pac. Pac is
You know
Pac.
what? I
You
remember. You know who introduced me? I knew about Tupac from Juice, but like,
mhm,
and maybe a Naughty by Nature track. And I had two older brothers, but I just remember how I was introduced to him. It was this guy. I was in grade. I think I was going to grade 9, right? And it was the
mhm.
All Eyes on Me
All eyes on me.
album.
Mhm,
And you know what the funny thing? It was an American. It was one of my brother's friends who was in Canada going to the school we were going to. It was a Catholic school, right? Fucking
mhm.
uniform shit. But I remember went to the mall and he had the Tupac CD, the double
Okay.
CD, and I saw Tupac in the black leather thing. I said, "What the hell
Yeah.
is this guy wearing?" Remember the year? What year it came out? It was what,
That was
94, 95,
not all eyes on me. Oh shit.
90,
The
95,
double CD,
94,
right?
95. I think. Yeah,
I think
late
all
90. I
all
think
eyes on
early
me
95.
came out either mid to late 95 or early 96. I'm gonna
No,
have to
no,
pull
early
up. He
95. Early 95. Early
okay.
95. Because he came out with the other one after the 7 Day Theory, whatever,
That was
right
later.
when he
He
died.
died. I remember he passed away in I believe it was September 13th of '96,
Yeah.
and I remember I was at a football game. I was at a high school
Mm,
football game. I was a freshman in high school. I was at a high school football game, and they announced it on the like mid game. Had
mm.
nothing to do with the game. That was the crazy part. But they announced it mid game that Pocket passed away, and
You know
I'll
the
never
funny thing, I
forget that
found out the
shit.
same time at school too. You know, the same time. You know, it's funny. I were talking. See how the universe is. I was in high school that time. That was about what, 96. I was about
'96.
16. And I remember same thing. We were in the halls and shit, and there's a DJ because we had a DJ booth, and they would play music. And I remember they
Okay.
said, "Yeah, the same thing, like what you're saying. That same time, when you got that announcement, it's
Hmm.
probably the same time I I heard that same shit too. I remember,
Yeah, it was
and
it
I was
was
just saying,
wild.
"Damn,
I remember everybody
yeah,
was sad as fuck. Everybody was super
yeah,
sad, you know.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, no, Pac, like I said, rest in peace. Pac was a icon. He's a global icon. You can't mention hip hop without mentioning Pac. You know,
yeah."
for
Tupac, and
sure.
another one. I hate to compare them, but DMX too. He
Oh
was
yeah, for sure, for
another one.
sure. I never forget.
DMX is another one.
Rest in peace, X man. I was at a Jay Z concert one day, man, and I don't know why I and it's not even a huge moment, but it sticks out to me for some reason. I was at a
Mm,
Jay Z concert. I was backstage. Shout out to Lenny S. Lenny S got me in. It was right after the show was over, and I was backstage, and I saw X. He was passing by, and I reached out. I reached my hand out just to dap him up. And before I could get in between him, a group of people walked in between us. And so for a second, I
mm,
thought, there's my opportunity. And that man waited until the group of people passed through to make
mm.
sure that I could dap him up. That
That's good.
moment to me said everything about his character. You know what I mean? And just from that moment on,
Mm,
obviously I was already a fan, but I kept following him, and it only co-signed the authenticity that I seen from that day going forward. He didn't have to. I was just
no,
I think at the time I probably was 21, 22. I was just a kid and I was by myself. I never forget that, man. He waited. It was probably like maybe 4 or 5 seconds. Group of people passed through, and after they passed through, he dapped me up. You know what I mean? We hugged, and I was just like big fan, and that was it. But
yeah,
he could have kept
he's a
moving.
story, man. He has a story because what's his name, 50, and I think Jada Kiss is doing like a podcast documentary series of DMX. So it's, I wonder how they're gonna do it, but it's like Jada
Oh
Kiss
man,
is gonna.
I,
I guess
I
they have
can't wait to see
stories.
that. I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, I don't.
I
It's
gotta
gonna be
see it.
interesting to hear how they do that. Like 50 and who's gonna be talking? I mean, who's doing the
Yeah,
research of
yeah.
DMX? But what I found out about DMX, like you're talking, is, and this is not fake shit. What a lot of people didn't know that Death Row was trying to sign him around the times when Tupac was going to death row. Like he was already on death row fresh, but
Oh wow.
DMX was supposed to be on death row because DMX was an underground rapper. He was around a long time before, but when he started to get like with the Rough Riders and come up, that would
Yeah,
have been like before we knew him, 97, right? It was like 97, 98.
like
About
97,
like the
98.
nine, so 94, the 94s, or maybe 93, 94s in New York, he was the guy coming up after, Onyx. Remember Onyx from
Mm-hmm.
Yonkers and shit? The bald
Yeah,
head
yeah,
shit?
yeah.
So
Shout out
DMX
to
was one of those
shout
cats.
out to
Yeah,
Fredro.
he was behind the scenes. DMX was the guy who was a MC, a real guy from back, but he got his, what it's called, he was lucky enough that he got the right people to take
Yeah.
him at a point bigger than Jay Z. At a point, he could have been bigger than Jay Z, but
Oh
because
yeah.
whatever situations. But the point
Yeah.
is, he almost crossed paths with Tupac, and he doesn't like to be compared to Tupac. There's that whole kind of thing going on. It's like, wait, there is a story. I don't know if you know they were gonna sign him. Like Death Row was gonna
I
sign
nah, I didn't know that, but I'll
DMX.
say this: he if you want to compare anybody to Pac, he would be the closest comparison in my eyes.
And he doesn't
Just
like
off
that shit.
of, I'm sure he didn't like it. Just off of just pure impact, pure
Yes,
just
yes.
just soul, like
Hollywood.
um I mean, Holly, he wouldn't even like that. He wouldn't like being called because, to him, he wasn't Hollywood. He was X. X, X was just pure, man. Pure. He wasn't perfect, obviously. You know
Yeah,
what I
but
mean?
pure.
But that was also a part of his story, and he was never afraid to include his raw, his unfiltered um side, his unfiltered stories is part of his journey. And that's the thing that you had to appreciate about X, the same way that you appreciate that about Pac. Pac was never afraid to show his vulnerable side. And Pac took it a step further where, he would show his vulnerable side to the females as well you know
Mm.
um and he wasn't afraid, neither one of them were afraid to speak their mind, and that's why I compare the two of them. And as much as I love Jay-Z,
That's a
the
good.
difference
That's a good
between
thing in the
Jay-Z,
chat. What they said. You
he
hear what he
said,
said? If X moved
yeah.
to Cali like Pac did, he would have been bigger than
Oh yeah,
Pac without question.
that's yeah, that's debatable. You know what I mean? The thing is,
Mm.
X
That's an
was
episode for me to talk about.
yeah, for sure. I mean, X did movies. I think that at the end of the day, you got to remember got his Pac's move to Cali wasn't strictly because of Cali. It was because they
Mm.
moved from Baltimore. Him
Yeah,
and
his
his mom,
mother.
they were in the trenches in Baltimore, and they started a new life in the Bay, and the Bay embraced Pac, and Pac was able to kind of get his start from the Bay. And shout out to and rest in peace to Shock G and Digital Underground. They took Pac under their wings, and Pac got his start in Cali. X, he got his start, through, like you said, through Rough Riders and DNY. Um, and
Mm.
they built his career, but maybe had X been in Cali, it could have been a different story. But
What happened is
again,
what you D the guy he didn't want him to be too compared. The problem was with Tupac that time. They didn't want.
mhm,
Okay, it's like someone comes out. This happens before. You both have a similar style. This guy come
right,
is out before you. He's on the label. What says they want you, but what these the guy said. He said no, we didn't want that because it would have made over, like would have made a situation like someone looks fake.
yeah,
Like in those times. You know what I mean? So they said
yeah.
let's just keep it because you remember when Rough Riders came out with X, wasn't it 97 in that or 98 with cannabis and remember they had that
I think
freestyle thing going on. I think
I want to say it's Dark and Hell is Hot came out in '98. I believe it
But
was
before the
'98.
98, but before the 98, he was doing mixtapes in the
Oh yeah,
underground.
yeah.
Like he
No,
was
he
doing
was.
all
Yeah,
that
yeah.
other
Of
shit.
course, he was. He was buzzing. Obviously, I was watching something with Dame Dash. I
Mm.
think it was a little bit earlier. And he was talking about X. X was battling. X was battling in the streets of New York. Shit, for years prior to him hitting
Yeah.
the mainstream. X. If people, if you knew, you knew. By the time I knew about X, I'm from North Carolina. I had New York ties, but I wasn't in New York, so I can't speak on the the real true New York stories other than what I know from Ski. Shout out to Ski.
Mm.
But he was X was doing his thing. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
X was that guy. You know what I mean? And it
Yeah,
was
he
only a matter of
released two
time
platinum
before he was
albums
gonna
in
shine.
'98.
The same year,
Mhm.
absolutely. It's Dark and Hell is Hot is one of my top 5 albums of all time.
Me too. I
Hip
done
hop
a
albums.
review on that.
Yeah,
I
that's
done a
that's
review. I
that's one of
listened
my
to the
top
whole
five.
album.
At one
It
point, it was
is
number one for
definitely.
me. It was number one for me at
Mm.
one point. You want to know what
Yeah.
my number one is right now?
Which one?
My number one hip hop album of all time. And actually, this I'm gonna give you a teaser.
That's a good
But
question. Yeah, you should ask some people.
my number one hip hop album of all time is actually Graduation by Kanye.
Shit, that's big.
And my
Graduation,
teaser, I'm releasing a project called Class Act next year.
class act.
Class Act. We'll talk more about that later. I can't get too much into it right now because I have an R&B album that I'm dropping this October.
That's a good choice.
Um,
You're gonna do R&B now. An R&B
um,
album.
yeah, I'm, yeah. Good segue. So
Mm,
Mr. Irrelevant is kind of my way of get my hip hop shit out the way because now I'm about to really dive more into the R&B for the rest of the year. I'm dropping a
mm,
couple of EPs, but then I'm
mm,
dropping a project called Charm, and it's how do I explain it? So because this is what I'm doing right now is going to be something that's never been done before, and I'm doing the same
mm.
thing with the Class Act project. So basically, my number one R&B album of all time is Where I Want to Be by Donnell Jones, right? I don't know
Oh
if you're
yeah, yeah,
familiar with
yeah.
that album. So
Mm,
that's my favorite R&B album of all time. So what I'm doing is I'm dropping a project that essentially it's like an interpolation. I think that's the word. I can't not interpretation, but
interpretation.
it, it, it is an interpretation or interpolation. I don't have the exact
Yeah.
word. Essentially, it's a tribute to the album, but
Mm,
I'm not going to do the songs from the album, but I'm gonna take let's just say the logistics from each song. For example, so that album has 13 songs on it. Each song on the album has its own tempo and its own key. I'm going
mm.
to recreate each tempo and key from each song, but it's going to be a
Oh.
completely different song to the
Mm,
point to where you could literally play each album at the same time and it's going to match key for key, tempo for tempo,
mm.
but it's going
Yeah.
to be a different song. I'm going to do the same
Mm.
thing for Graduation next year. So this first time I've actually put that out there. Um, you'll remember this interview from next year
Yeah,
when you
yeah.
hear Class Act. It's gonna blow your mind. But Charm dropping this October 19th, actually, which is the same day that Where I Want to Be dropped. So
Now that you're
just throwing
talking
that out
about that
there.
R&B, I was a big R&B person. As much as hip hop, I grew up on the
Yeah.
R&B, and
Yeah,
I
we from the
think
same era, brother.
I think I was gonna do a podcast, and I kept holding back on it. And I know somebody wants me to talk about it. I had the title "The Death of R&B," right? Meaning the
Mhm.
industry, how they have done it. Because I watched them because I was into R&B a lot, and you seen how the groups disappeared, the male groups, the female groups. I remember New Edition. I remember Shy. I remember High Five. I remember Silk. It keeps going. No more,
Yeah.
right? No more female groups. They killed off a genre. You
Oh
only
yeah,
have
yeah,
Chris
yeah.
Brown and a couple
Mhm.
people. You could only
Yeah.
say Chris Brown and what name Usher. They're doing a show. There used to
Yeah.
be a whole genre. They
And maybe
killed it off.
Tank a little
And
bit.
but we should have groups. We should have R&B groups. It was big as
Mm,
hip hop, if not bigger than
mhm.
Like that's what I'm saying. A
Oh
lot of hip
yeah.
hop people love
Yeah.
R&B and they could sing. There's a lot of singers who you see are rappers too. They're just not
Yeah.
singing because they probably are singing now, like
Yeah.
with the auto tune like Drake. But I'm just saying there was groups, 3 guys, 4 guys,
Yeah. Yeah.
girls. What happened?
I'll just
The money.
I think either the money or the the I think there might have been a couple of things. Maybe a few of the members probably were complaining about not getting
Mm,
paid. You have to split
yeah,
because if you
money
got a
business.
if you got a four guy group, you got to split it 4 ways, and then within those 4 ways, you got one lead singer or two lead singers, and the other two, and they're
Mm.
like, well, why am I getting paid the same thing that they getting paid, and I'm doing more, and they not doing this? So it probably created a lot of rift and a lot of controversy in between the
I'm gonna come
members and
back to
shit
you. I'm
like
gonna come
that.
back to you what you're saying at NatStar. I'm gonna come back to you what you're saying. Let me just read this what this person said. Since
Yeah, yeah,
you both do R&B and rap and R&B, which of the
yeah,
three
yeah.
artists would you feel you relate to more? LL Cool J, Drake, or Ja Rule? LL Cool J, I would say for like if I was to pick
Mhm.
out of that three, those three. I'm
Well,
not gonna
LL
say
Cool.
Drake because I'm from Toronto.
I say the reason why I say Drake is because Drake was one of the first, if not the first artist that was bold enough to say, you know what, I'm gonna do both. I'm gonna do it my way, and
Mm.
we'll see what
Okay, I can
happens.
relate like that. Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
That's a good
He
one.
he was he was
Yes.
on a mainstream level
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know if I don't know if I spoke about my Drake story in our previous um
Mm-hmm.
interview, but I was around when, like, right before I was managed by um a guy who was managing Drake literally right before Wayne signed him. It was like he
Mm-hmm.
was this one guy, this guy was managing him, and then, like, next thing you know, he got picked up by Wayne. So in between that time, he had made a record called Replacement Girl. I don't know you replace
Mm.
familiar with Replacement Girl, right?
Early days. Yeah.
So Trey Songz was singing. So I don't know if you know
Yes. That's they came to Toronto
originally.
and they done that. Mm-hmm.
So originally Drake sang the hook.
Oh, I
Um,
see.
yeah, yeah. Originally, Drake was singing the hook, but at that particular time, we were still in the era where you had to choose. You either gonna rap
Yes.
or you gonna sing,
Or sing.
and he, and I get it because I was in that same pressure cooker
Yeah.
at that time where
Drake. Yeah.
he felt like he had to choose, even though he could have put the record out with him singing. I heard the record with him singing.
Mm-hmm.
I heard, and I remember thinking to myself like, "Yo, why didn't he put that out?" Because remember, I was the one like, "Fuck it, I'm singing and rapping, whatever." So I heard him doing. I'm like, I don't get why didn't he put it out? But at the same time, I got it because it was during that era where it wasn't cool for you to be a singer and a rapper. You had to either be a singer or you had to be a rapper. Well, by the time fast forward a couple years later, um Best I Ever Had dropped, and that shit went
Mm-hmm.
out of here.
And then.
And that was when the world finally decided it is okay for you to sing and rap. And from that point
Mm-hmm.
on, the game changed. So to answer the question, I would say Drake. Um because
Yeah. Yeah. That's good what you're saying.
I've always
Yeah.
been unapologetic, just like Drake, unapologetic to say I do both. And and shout out to Wayne. Wayne gave him the freedom and the creative control to be able to do that, and
You
they
know
they
what? I
took a
like that you
chance.
brought. I like that you brought that up because right now that explains a lot of people, even in Toronto, who got influenced off of the Drake. I'll be straight up. I'm gonna say it. This might
Tory
go
Lanez.
viral. Tory, okay, Tory Lanez, The Weekend,
Yeah,
Party Next Door. They all got. Let's be straight up. They got that. What you just said is okay to sing. So Weekend instead of
yeah,
rapping, because Weekend could rap. Weekend could rap. but he done singing. I don't
Okay.
know if people know he can rap. I heard
I
he
didn't know
was
that.
starting off. He was freestyling. There's videos of him when he was like younger in Toronto,
Okay.
rapping on the street, and he could have done
Okay.
it like Drake, but he picked
Okay.
the
You picked
singing.
the singing.
So
Okay.
like what you're saying, they're
Yeah.
saying no, I can't be like Drake. If he was to rap and sing, they would say you are a copy. You know, like you're the
Right.
copycat. You're from the same
Right.
city, and you're gonna and light skin. Let you straight. So
Right.
that's why Weekend still broke through. That's why you see Weekend as big. There's a big thing with that too.
Right.
That's the
No, I
elephant in
didn't.
the
I
room.
didn't know that.
There's a big thing with Drake and Weekend. I
Like I
just
said,
say that.
I remember.
Fox.
I remember being literally. I remember that time because, like I said, shout out T Slack. Um, he he was actually T Slack was the first person to bring Drake to America.
Mm,
That was he managed me when I was just a producer. And that was me and his conflict was essentially like it was it, kind of like the Kanye effect where it was like
mm,
it's hard to see this producer as a rapper or it's hard to see this producer as an
hmm.
artist. That
Yeah,
was that was our conflict. You know, he met me as a producer and
yeah,
years later got back into doing my own music and it was hard for him to
mm,
to see both sides. I listen, I don't necessarily blame him for it. It is what it is, right? But yeah, he brought Drake to Atlanta, and he had kind of started doing a lot of his networking from Atlanta, and it kind of went from there. But I remember, like I
hmm.
said, I remember that time where it was like, you know, and what people don't understand too, Drake got a lot of backlash from number one, just his image is just kind of you know, a light skinned preppy dude that has skills, but because he
Yeah,
was
but
light skinned and preppy, he got backlash just from that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then you
yeah,
add
but
singing on top of that,
yeah,
he had a lot that he had to fight through to get to where he
but the
got
Chris
to.
Browns kind of helped it too. The Chris Browns kind of helped it because Chris Brown, like he was the R&B, the pure R&B artist in America. So and he's light skinned too. So to me, I see
Yeah.
they push that forefront a lot of the times. I'm just saying straight up. That's what
Right.
is pushed.
But
If you
but
check the
again,
guys who are at the
because
top,
it was R&B, like it's like okay, that was
yeah,
Chris Brown was in that lane, so it was like okay, we can keep you in that lane. Essentially Drake was carving out, and it's hard being
mm,
what I call the cowboy that goes over the hill first. You get
mm,
the first cowboy over the hill, the Indians, they take shots. You're the first
mm,
person to carve out this new lane, and it's like okay, it either works or it don't work, and if it don't work, then you're the guy that is going to be known for it. Okay, he tried it, it didn't work, but
the
shout
work.
out to Drake, it worked because he made a good project, and he found the right way to fuse it all. Shout out to 40. he
Mm,
they t- collectively came together and made a good project that said that okay, now it's okay for that, and it broke open the lane for everything that you essentially hear right now. You know what I mean?
mhm,
T Pain was a little maybe, but even T Pain, like T Pain was more so looked at as like the R&B guy. You know what I mean? It was
mhm.
like a T Pain is a singer.
T-Pain got
Drake.
mad because Drake came.
Yeah, well, T Pain got upset because Drake essentially was able to be recognized as, because I don't know if you remember, T Pain's first album was called Rapper Turn Singer, which
Yep.
just from that title says I wanted to be a
Hmm.
rapper, but I had to be a
Yes.
singer
Singer.
to break into the industry. So
Hmm.
the the potential animosity came because Drake was able to be recognized and respected as a lyricist, but also able to put out records melodically. He was the
Insane.
first to that bridge that gap, and it created a lane going forth where it's okay to be melodic. Now you got dope boys singing.
Mm,
You know what I
it's
mean?
true.
That's that's the reason.
Do you remember
Yeah.
you remember there was a campaign with uh Cole, friggin' Cole, J. Cole,
Hmm.
when the first album I think of Drake came out. I don't know if they're in Toronto or somewhere in America, and they're going through to getting all their CDs. You
Yeah, I
could
remember
see
that. I'm
Drake, the young, yeah. So
Yeah, I remember
these,
that.
if you check it, J. Cole is German too. Eh? He's not really
Hmm.
born American and stuff.
Hmm.
Drake
Hmm.
Canadian. I don't know. I analyzed that the other day. I said both these
Shout out
guys,
to North
with their
Carolina.
C's, their
That's
times and shit.
he from North
And
Carolina
he's
too.
North
Shout out.
Carolina's
Yeah,
boy,
yeah, yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
Drake, we both have some energy in common. See, like I'm
Yeah.
saying, he's from North Carolina, Drake's from Toronto. When I
Yeah.
saw them in that video, I was like, wait a minute, these guys knew each other that long? I said I didn't really realize that they knew each other that long
Yeah.
until
Yeah.
recent, until
Yeah.
these days. So they're kind of marketed together. What I'm looking
Hmm.
at, like I'm saying, hmm,
Yeah.
that's kind of
Yeah. They
funny.
they they got I think if I'm not mistaken, J. Cole was the first Rock Nation artist when Rock Nation was formed.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
And
he was.
yeah, yeah, they go back. They definitely go back. But even with J. Cole found a melodic side of him. You gotta credit, and this is not, this is not to add on to Drake's rollout, but
You
you
got
gotta
credit.
give yeah, you gotta give Drake his credit because he took a lot of the hits. You know what I mean? Because you gotta be bold. Again, and I can say this just because I was there. You know what I mean? And even my manager at the time, like I remember him sending off songs and shopping beats from the songs, and I'm just like, yo, these are my songs, bro. you, you know what I mean? But again, we're in this era. We're talking about 2005, 2006, 2007,
Mm,
2008, where you're either a rapper or you're a singer. You can't be both. And that was, you know, fuck, what was the name of that fucking mixtape? Um,
which one? A
the
Drake
first,
mixtape, Room for Improvement.
yeah, nah, after
Room
that,
for Improvement. Um,
not the one that,
October's very own.
n- no, the one with best I ever had on it.
Oh
It was
shit.
that mixtape. Um,
Yeah.
is it what a time? No, is it what a time to be alive? No, that's not it. I'm thinking of some other shit. But that mixtape was
Mm.
was the catalyst essentially to what helped shift the landscape of hip hop and blend R&B.
That'd be controversial to certain people. What you just said shape the
It,
landscape, but that's your opinion.
but and here's the thing. That's the point. It
Yeah.
takes you know it changes changes come with controversy. It is what it is. If you go
I'm gonna be
back to
straight.
the yeah.
Now, to be straight up, where Drake comes from, I don't know if people analyze. They should do research. This is why I'm gonna say to content makers that's around here now. Do more research of where Drake is from, right? Not just what you see out there. Look at, if he's so big, what influenced him? Besides, American artists influenced him, but what influenced him in Toronto to work that hard to come up and be how he is? What it is the city. This city is called the Screwface capital. So I remember growing up, you had to have be good. Like you couldn't the shit what I'm seeing now they're doing, like
Yeah.
like when even Drake was coming up, you couldn't be doing this shit. You had to know to perform, have
Yeah.
a stage presence, or
Yeah.
you wouldn't even exist. Like
Yeah.
2005, 2006, 2000, even up to those times, no one would respect you. So this
Yeah.
guy seen other artists from Toronto who's been through the struggle for a long time trying to prove themselves. Remember, us from up here had to prove ourselves to America. So
Right.
anybody who comes out of Canada has to be the best of the best. People,
It's
that's
a
how I'm
different
making
chip.
people know
Yeah.
it's a
It's a
different ship.
whole it's a
So
whole different chip. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
yeah, so when Drake was coming from here, there was guys who were already singing and rapping. I can tell you there's another guy who he looked up to, who maybe he might not say it, but maybe we'll give him his flowers, who sang
Right.
and rapped named Chaos. His name is Chaos. This guy's a lyrical genius. Saying he's older now, but Drake even done a song with him a couple years ago, but he didn't promote it too much. But this guy Chaos, look him up. You see, like what you see Kendrick's doing to me. I mean, controversial.
Right.
The
Right.
style Kendrick, you hear Kendrick do like with the jazzy type of shit and that hip
Hmm.
hop, that type of stuff. This guy, when you hear this guy, he was doing that 20 some
Yeah.
like way back. You get what I mean? So that's the
Yeah.
type of artist
Um
Drake's been
he
around. Like we
Drake
have an
Drake
R&B
was
scene, big.
Drake was influenced by I don't know if you're familiar with Little Brother.
Yes,
Little Brother.
yes,
So
yes.
Ninth Wonder, we're from the same city.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like yeah, I know Ninth. We're both from Winston Salem. Um, Fonte and Fonte and Pooh are from. I want to say they're from Durham. They all met going to college in Durham, where I was born
Hmm.
at
Yeah.
UNC Central. That's another group that Drake was influenced by. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but
He's
to your
influenced by a
point,
lot of great artists.
yeah,
Mm.
to your point. I mean, you gotta, coming from Canada, um, I can understand being that the birthplace of hip hop, especially you know being from North Carolina mm, it was a chip for me, but I can imagine it's a whole different chip coming from over the border because you know who's to say what the depiction was or what um
Hmm.
the the perception was. It's like a rapper from Toronto. You just off alone,
Hmm.
it's like okay, I have to be 100 times better than any average rapper in America just to get some kind of not just even recognition, but some
Respect.
kind of respect. To your point, it's like I'm from across the border, so I gotta bring it 100 times stronger.
Exactly.
I hear that
Exactly. And most
I
of
hear
the
Tory Lanez. I hear that.
mm,
I hear it deep when I hear Tory Lanez
yeah,
spit. It's like,
yeah.
okay, I hear you, bro. I hear you. you know,
Most of the first
It-
people who was coming out, they never made you know they're from Toronto. I remember like
yeah,
growing up, the guys who would be coming out and they're like trying to they got some type of deal in America or they're lucky to get that. You
yeah,
didn't know they're from Toronto until later on. They didn't promote it until Drake pop. I have to give Drake this, brought the spotlight, and people were more proud to say, "Yeah." No, I shouldn't say Drake. I gotta take that back. Respect to Drake. Yes, Cardinal
yeah.
Official.
Cardinal official
When
for sure.
Cardinal Official started to get that American thing with Akon, that made it kind of jump. And Drake was there, but it was Akon. I remember.
He took
I
it
mean,
to
it
a
was
different.
Cardinal
Yeah,
Official. Yeah, Cardinal Official. Yeah.
Drake helped
I
take
don't know
it
if you know
to
who
a
Cardi
different
is.
level. You
Yeah,
said
Drake
who?
took it to a different level. But he saw guys like Cardi, he saw guys like Socrates. I'm putting out some names. Maestro, this guy Maestro is like our Rakim. Like he was the guy who
Oh
came
wow.
out in the late 80s, and he's the guy who went to America first, worked with like a lot of people down there like Showbiz and AG in New York. So he was our Rakim, I would call him. at that
Okay.
time, or Big Daddy Kane more likely. So
Okay.
we had people from the 80s, but it still was us, Actually,
Right. For
let
sure.
me not actually these guys actually were more successful than the guys out now. Let me give that respect. Besides Drake and Tory Lanez, which they're the top,
Right.
all the old school guys, I would say, got on at a time where they were getting paid by radio and like more royalties compared to like the young guys now. All these young
Okay.
guys now from here, it's a drill scene and it's more like hype on the internet, and it's not
Right.
like they're getting radio play, it's
Right.
internet play. So that
Right.
like we went backward. We used to have the hubs
Right.
here and now it's all these pages. It's internet. We used to have
Right.
artists come from America to visit here. Now we don't have a hub, so now it's internet. If they do come here, they're gonna tap in with the corporates or somebody who's like they're not going down to earth like us. Like you're coming from America, you coming
Right.
down into my our studio and we're
Right.
talking to you. These guys come
Right.
from America, they come perform and they go back home. No media.
Right. Right. Okay.
Big
I got you.
like Game's in Toronto now. Game is in Toronto now. Who's interviewing him? I'm just giving you an example.
Got you.
He
Okay.
just dropped it in Toronto. You get what I
Wow.
mean? See how the
Okay.
scene is? Like
Yeah.
there's tons of celebrities who come here from America. Tons.
Right.
All the
Right.
time.
Right.
But no one's no, you guys don't see that because there's no media
With the media.
here
Okay. I got you. Yeah.
who's made you
That's
know,
that.
oh
That's where you step in, brother.
yeah,
That's
I'm
where you
coming.
gotta.
We're coming.
There you.
We're coming.
There
I
you
got a
go.
guy coming straight to a festival down here in June. He's an
Okay.
artist who's been on that reality freestyle show. I got to get. I'll get his name right later on. You know that flow show? I think it's like hip hop type of what's called American Idol style show.
I'm about to check it
Snoop
out.
been on it. Snoop been on
Okay.
it. Buster been hosting it, and either way, this guy's making some moves too. Like how you're doing it, doing his music, coming down here for a festival. But the point
Right.
is, if you're coming from America around the world, wherever urban music is coming, you should have a hub to promote it. Like how me and you've been talking for like an hour. Like you
Yeah,
should,
for
when
sure.
you travel any city, you should be able to link with the media campaign because that's part of an
Right.
artist's campaign to go to this interview, this radio station, this event, this festival. You come to, for example, you come to Toronto for a week. You should be
We
going to
good.
every damn media hub you can, and maybe one or two
Right.
shows you perform.
For sure. For
You
sure.
get
For
what I
sure.
mean?
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
We're
Definitely.
giving game. We're
Definitely.
spitting game. We're giving
Hmm.
gems to people. That's what you're
That's
supposed to be
that
doing.
and that's yeah, no, that's old, that's old school, that's old school guerrilla marketing. I came up in that era too, where it's like, yo, whatever city you touch down in, back back in the day, like you go to the record
Mm,
store, you go to the radio station, you go to the club, you go to the strip club if you bought that.
mm,
You go, you perform,
mhm.
you do the after party.
Over.
You know what I
It's a
mean? Like
different
you
era.
tap in. Yeah,
Yeah.
you tap in. You feel me? So you're right.
My guy from
You're right on
Toronto
the money.
on here. He says, "What? Wait, I think you can't compare the times. To be honest, nothing is better or worse. No, man.
That's right.
Let me tell you, man. I'm a Toronto. I'm a man from. I was a little kid from my older brothers, and this is coming from like not just me. What I've seen my older brothers listen to and me listening to, the
Yeah.
artists from the 90s and the early 2000s benefited from this whole shit for Toronto. After Drake, right? And then I'm not including after Drake and Tory Lanez, no one has done it on no level and weekend. Like, let me just say the
Yeah.
rap. No one has done it after Tory Lanez and Drake on that level from Toronto. Nobody. I'm waiting. Much respect to Casper TNG, but majority of the landscape. That's why I'm telling my brother on here. Majority of the landscape, they're not as successful as the guys in the '90s. The Circle. I'll just let me put down some names. Socrates, friggin' Chalklear, Cardinal Official, even Maestro's still around. Mishi Me, Ghetto Concept. I can't. There's too much to name. You get what I mean? There's too much. But now these guys now, respect to the young guy, I can't name 10 of them. in
Mm.
Toronto. And I'm not counting Drake. I'm not counting Drake and Tory and you get what I mean, like the ones you know. I can't say 10, right? It's crazy. But anyways, people,
Oh wow. Yeah, see,
please subscribe, like,
I'll
comment,
let you
all that
speak
good
on
stuff.
that. I'll let you speak on that. I,
No,
that's
man,
gonna just
I'm gonna
make me want to dive
controversial.
in. Yeah, get to know the culture more. I do want to say real quick. I just noticed my boy Bree was the one that was commenting. Shout out to my dog Bree. That's my dog. He is from L.A. He from Long Beach. That's my dog. If you still watching, what's happening? You know I'm gonna text you in a minute, bruh, because we gonna get some shit cracking. That's my dog Bree. Shout out to my dog Bree. Yeah, 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 yeah.
So, brother, it would have been nice speaking, chopping it up with you. Nat Starman, Mr. Irrelevant. Yo, you got to check him out on all digital
Yeah, check that
platforms,
out. That's
brother.
coming out all platforms. Like I said, when me and Empire finally lock in on the artwork, I gotta work on that shit. I'll probably work on that shit tonight and get that shit up. Hopefully by the end of next week, it'll be up on the platforms. Yeah, bro. Hey, and I appreciate you fucking with me, bro. Appreciate you fucking with the project. Look out for the new
Yeah.
R&B shit. Listen, the art that new R&B shit is it's it's probably gonna throw you off because it's gonna be like, yo,
Mm.
like what the fuck? But it's gonna be
Mm.
crazy. I promise the shit's gonna be dope as fuck. But hey, listen, man, we gotta do this again. You know I'm always available
We're
anytime
going to
you want
chop
to
it up. You
chop
know
it up,
what? I
bro.
want to do a topic. Now you're saying we will chop it up very soon, but let's pick a topic, a couple of topics. We're just going to chop it up of what's
Let's get it.
been going on, have some
Yeah.
different type of ideas and shit. That's those
Uh-huh.
guys were not in the streets for the most part. It don't matter, man. Like these guys are. That's another part. I'm gonna talk to you, Real Toronto DVD. But yeah, I'm out, yo. Bless up.
Hey,
NatStar, man.
appreciate.
Check out the
Let me know
project.
whenever you want to do that, bro. Just hit me up. You know I'm always
Yeah.
down, bro. Love you, brother.
Love you too. Much respect. Bless up.
For sure.